In a major blow to the Biden administration, a judge has struck down a program that would offer legal status to undocumented immigrants married to U.S. citizens. The judge, who was appointed by President-elect Trump, says the program violates U.S. immigration law. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joins us now to talk more about this. Morning, Weijia. So explain this ruling and who exactly is impacted by it and what you're hearing from the Biden administration about it.
Oh, good morning, Vlad. So this is part of the Biden administration's program that they proposed called Keeping Families Together. And basically, if you're an undocumented person married to an American citizen, this plan would have given work permits and protections from deportations to those people if they had lived in the U.S. for at least 10 years without committing a serious crime. And most importantly, if this had gone through, the policy would allow these immigrants to apply for permanent residency, also known as a green card. Now, here's the thing. If you're undocumented in this country right now, you can apply for a green card, but you have to leave first, go back to your original country, and then apply for reentry and come back. And that is what this program was trying to cut out for those immigrants who had been here for 10 years or longer and married to an American citizen. But as you mentioned, Vlad, this was struck down by a judge, a U.S. District Court judge, who we should say was appointed by President-elect Donald Trump. As for what the Biden administration is saying, nothing. We haven't heard from the White House, and we haven't heard from the Department of Homeland Security, even though we have asked multiple times. And of course, the Justice Department can appeal this ruling, but frankly, Vlad, with a Trump administration 2.0, it's easy to imagine how all of that would get caught up in court and probably go nowhere once the new administration comes in.
Yeah, and as you know, Weijia, nobody knows better than you. Immigration was, of course, at the heart of this election. So how will, thinking about the next couple of months, how is the Biden team thinking about immigration before the president leaves office?
Well, there's really little that the president can do in terms of executive order. And of course, you know, Congress is about to be upheaved as well. So I think, you know, there's not much in terms of action that the president can take. This was one way that he was trying to do something before he left office. And so, you know, this is not something that they can do much on. They continue to use the same messaging, which is that they tried and they failed, that they were so close, even with a bipartisan group of lawmakers. And so it looks like, you know, the ball really is going to be in the Trump administration's court in terms of border security. And it wasn't just the economy that people voted on, it was the border. And so the overwhelming majority of Americans liked what Donald Trump had to say about the border and security better than what Harris was saying. And so he has promised mass deportations. He has also said there's no price tag on it. He's willing to pour money into that. So we have to see how that unravels in just a few months, Vlad.
We'll be watching. All right, Weijia, thank you very much. Have a nice weekend.
You too. Thanks.